Oh, and we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Kramer and Jess Uncensored. This is the 112th edition of this said podcast. Be nice if I had my podcast. Thank you, Jess. There it is. I'm like, this is awkward without it.
Yay.
I'm Kramer. That's Jess, and that's Hassan over there.
Sup, shoddy?
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Not sup, shoddy. We're not starting that way. In case you've never been here for one of these before, we always try to give you a heads up because we don't want any surprises as we progress through the show.
Shotties only.
Shotties only. This is for, only shotties come through right now. Okay?
It's like the close friends option on Instagram. You have a select few you allow to see certain things. This is how the Uncensored podcast is. This is an intimate setting. We share our secrets with you, and we ask that you don't, share them with other people that don't listen to the Uncensored podcast.
Some of this can really get us in trouble, So thank you for being here. In case you don't know, too, we do this show live on YouTube. If you want to come watch it with us.
Morning.
Hello, Felicia. Felicia's on here watching. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Just search out Kramer and Jess. Or honestly, the easiest way to get to anything is kramerandjess.com. It's got links to literally just everything super fast. You click it, boom, you're there. So thank you for checking out the podcast. It is episode 112. And we got a little distracted because, God, when's the last time we heard from 112?
I listen to 112 at least once a week.
Okay, thanks, Jess.
Last night.
Best 112 song, Jess.
Cupid.
Okay, we'll play Cupid then. I can play for a second before we get in trouble. Hi, Isabel. Good morning. We got that one. We also got wait, what is it? Oh, this is Only You, the remix. I can't live without your love. Thinking of you. I want to see how many references of shoddy we can get into.
No, I don't want to do that.
By the way, the board's like freaking out right now, so I need to make sure we're not on the radio.
We're totally on the radio right now.
Are we?
No, I mean probably.
Do you see this is on? Can you see what's happening right now? Look at this.
What is that mean? That's not good.
Like all the programs are lighting up.
Wait,
right
is
now.
it? What?
I'm gonna make sure we're not on the
Where
radio.
do I go?
I don't think so.
Hello.
We're not.
Nothing. We're good.
Okay.
Wait. Oh, it's EAS test. That's what it is.
Oh, great.
We have an EAS test. So if you're watching this, wait.
Are we? I feel like Tom would have texted us if we
No,
were
it's fine.
on
It's an EAS test. So,
Okay.
Or there's an actual emergency going down and we're completely ignoring it on the podcast. Okay. Another 112 song though that I was like, wait, why did my mom ever let me listen to this song?
Peaches and cream. I need to get you moving on my feet. Girl, you taste so good to me.
Damn, I was younger than you.
I know. What year was?
So addicted to you. Yeah.
What year do you think Peaches and Cream was? Hang on. Let's
Right
all
next to
figure
you.
out. No, the real lyrics are inside of you. Right? Hang on.
In the back of you. I love the smell of you. Girl, you know what I'm talking about.
La, 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 la. Me as a baby in the back of the car.
Just enjoying it, having no idea what it's even talking about. Peaches and Cream.
Oh, 2001.
So you would have
not-
been how old? You'd have been 7,
Oh, okay.
8.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd have been probably 17.
Not bad.
And it was like one of those things
When was
where
Cupid release?
I'd be singing that and like my mom be like, turn this shit off. And I'm like, no, Mom, this is cool. Now I would never let my kid listen to a song about eating a woman's vagina.
But you don't think about it that way. You know what I mean? Like
You would, though.
I'm gonna play Peaches and Cream for my,
Not appropriate.
newborn baby.
Coming out the womb.
That's gonna be the song that's playing when I'm giving birth, and then and then followed by followed by Cupid. You know what I mean? So like as the
World's
birthing
weirdest
is
birth.
happening, Peaches and Cream, and then when I'm holding my baby for the first time, Cupid will play.
Celia says my daughter loves that Nicki Minaj song "Freak."
Exactly.
Yeah. Now that we're okay,
Of
'cause
course she does.
this is okay. So this is actually a good question.
and it's okay.
Is it though?
Yeah, it's fine.
Because there's no way in the world I would let my kid listen to a song.
Peaches and cream.
But you weren't thinking it was like other things. You were honestly thinking it was Peaches and Cream, didn't you?
I know I was old enough to know what you probably were singing.
Well, I was.
as-
I was singing it because it's a dope ass beat, and I like 112.
So Celia, in this example, Celia it said, her daughter listens to "Freak" by Nicki Minaj. Like how do you manage that? Like, how is that handled nowadays? Like, do you just let her sing it and like just hope that she just enjoys like the melody, or are you like? Because imagine she walks into school, she's like FREAK, and like
Let her live her
she's a
life.
kid,
She's
you
not,
know?
She doesn't mean any harm by it.
No, not now, but like, what is that gonna do for her later on? Like, if she's so used to it, Erica says she used to sing "Peaches and Cream" on top of her lungs in elementary
middle
school.
school. Exactly. Same.
Wait, Mike says
watermelon
some-
sugar. Exactly.
Wait, what is Watermelon Sugar High about?
It's
It's
about
about the
eating
same thing.
vagina.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's the same as peaches and cream. It's
No,
about
that's
eating.
not true.
Yes, it is.
That's not true.
It is.
Nope. I'm gonna look this up. Watermelon Sugar.
And you know what? And it's
meaning.
it's a beautiful song. Like
That's what
I
I'm saying,
don't
like-
I'm not thinking about inappropriate things when I sing it. I love playing it with the windows down on a nice summer day. It's all that's on my mind when I hear that song.
It's eating fruit.
Harry Styles opens up about the real meaning behind his song "Watermelon Sugar," which is the female orgasm. I had no
Oh.
idea that's what it was.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And the sweetness in life. Well,
there
now,
you are.
now you know. So, are y'all cool with your kids like walking around singing like about female orgasms, or like, nah, we're just not. We're not doing that
Fine,
anymore.
It's fine.
Celia says she knows very well what curse words are and knows right from wrong. Okay, I'm not
Yeah.
saying, but it's not a curse word. Like singing, "I'm a freak, I'm a freak, I'm a freak" is not necessarily a cuss word. So, like, are y'all cool with it then? Because my parents weren't having it. Like, my parents would not, and even my.
I agree with it, Isabel. Adults are the ones with the dirty mind. Kids just love the beat.
So you
I
say,
Thank
think
you.
so too.
so y'all are okay with it then?
Mhm.
So y'all are completely okay with this? Your kids walking around singing about freak, freak, freak.
Yes,
I'm a
we're
freak.
fine with it. Are you fine
Female
with it?
orgasm. I don't think I would be as a parent. I think I have a problem with that because I just don't know. Like, I don't want my kid walking around singing about. But also, how do you keep them away from it? Because it's
You won't.
everywhere.
Exactly.
Are you going to practice what you preach then?
What do you mean?
So when you have kids, are you not going to listen to those music in the house?
There's no way.
Exactly.
I
So
was-
practice what you preach.
I was just laughing with Hassan because on the radio station that I think it was Without Me, the Eminem song where it's like, I sat in between Britney Spears and Fred Durst and argue over who she gave head to first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's so funny about that song? It's like one day it's gonna like be on the oldie station. Like, you're gonna turn on the radio and be like, yep. But our parents' music wasn't like this.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
was.
was.
About argue over who she gave head to first? No, it was not.
LL Cool J's
Or, like,
doing it well.
Let's
Are
talk
you
about
kidding
sex.
me?
Let's talk about sex, baby. Like
Well,
all
you
that
guys,
shit.
you guys are a generation younger. I'm thinking my parents' music wasn't about like sex, and if it was like so oblivious to it that it wasn't like so. Now it's just like, I'm a freak, I have sex, and we eat pussy, and we use watermelon sugar vagina. Like, Felicia said, my toddler likes watermelon sugar. What's that word? Dame to.
Dame tu cosita,
What does
and
that
has
mean?
played Bloody Mary more times than I can count. I couldn't have stopped him from
I
singing
think
these if
that's-
I tried.
That's probably the problem. Tina says, "What about 50 Cent Take You to the Candy Shop?"
Oh,
Let you-
girl.
I mean, it's
That
true.
was the song.
Like, that's gonna be
sorry.
playing. That's gonna be playing at my
Mhm.
funeral procession. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Mhm.
just, it's scary. And then Lizzo. Okay, yeah. So how about that? Good as hell. And she lets me, and she'll let me sing the hell part. Oh, so she doesn't say hell. You're just like, good as. Okay. Salt and Pepper, Push It. That's a good point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That's a good point. I guess there's plenty of them, but I'm just like, God, I can't imagine my kid listening to a song about female orgasms. Can we do an episode of Whiny Wednesday? I wish I had music for this. Whiny. I have it produced. It's time for Whiny Wednesday, everybody.
Whiny Wednesday.
You know, like on the radio, we can't talk about this, but on the Uncensored podcast, we can. The Whiny Wednesday is a theory that we have, and I don't really have.
Whiny Wednesday is when we have listeners that are the whiniest. Wednesday is the day of the week that they are the whiniest. This is when we get the nastiest text messages, the nastiest complaints, and the nastiest phone calls. Not on Monday, not
No.
on Friday, not on Thursday. It's Wednesday.
And we don't know why. There's no real rhyme or reason, but honestly, we don't get complaints any other day. And by the way, we record this podcast on Wednesday, so we're coming out of the radio show out of like Whiny Wednesday. And some of these, the reason we bring this to your attention is because we want you just to know, like, what goes into, like, what we see on our side.
Mhm.
You know, like you get to hear the callers that love us, and like, you don't have to sit through the meetings and see the text messages of people that hate us. So when we do Whiny Wednesday, though, we also, I think, need to look at it from is there something that we can have learned from this complaint? Is there a reason of why maybe this person was so upset? Maybe we did go too far. So I'll start with a text message that Hassan pointed out to me earlier. A lovely person from the 410. Now, let me explain what had happened on the radio so you can kind of some context. Jess, you explain where we were.
So on Wednesdays in the morning, so from 6 to 6:30, it's like super loose. We like talk about whatever. And it's because we're like with our 6 o'clock club. So we think it's like a safe space, almost like the most G-rated version of the Uncensored podcast, like 6 to 6:30, right? And so we do a What Would You Rather Wednesday. And Kramer always establishes the fact that like these questions are supposed to be weird. They're supposed to be uncomfortable. It's just something weird and funny that we're going to do. It means absolutely nothing. And it was either would you rather sleep in a bed of snakes every single night or cut off your pinky toe yourself?
Well, honestly, the question was, would you rather sleep in a coffin full of snakes every night? And just with everything happening in Nashville, I'm like, okay, Jess and I just kind of know, like we stay away from anything heavy, like death, like you stick away. So I saw that and I was like, okay, I'm going to change this to snakes sleep in your bed every night. I'm fine. Yeah. Felt safe enough.
Also, this is so childish. Like the questions are supposed to be dumb and like ridiculous. So it's just supposed to be playful.
Text message from the 410. Okay. I have to let you know that they're talking about cutting fingers and toes, or that talking about cutting off fingers and toes is not funny. As someone who has cut her finger off in an accident, it's not a joking manner. It is a disfigurement you have to live with your whole entire life.
I also, as for What Would You Rather Wednesday, I said I would choose to cut off my own pinky toe because I could not sleep in a bed of snakes. That was my answer.
With people staring at you because you're different. Inappropriate, guys. Find something else to joke about. FYI, Jessica. Jessica.
Jessica.
Oh, yeah.
You got a Jessica in this.
That's all right.
In an accident, I cut off my ring finger 6 months after I was married. So if you think it's funny and you're getting ready to get married, take a moment and think how you would feel. You stupid bitch. I'm just kidding.
That did not happen.
She might as well have said that. She might as well have said, you stupid bitch at the end of that. Okay. Whiny Wednesday. Let's break it down. This woman clearly has been through a lot. Okay?
A traumatic experience of losing her finger.
She's lost her finger. She turns on the radio.
Which sucks. It's sad.
And she hears us talking about losing a finger. Okay.
Cutting off your pinky toe.
That's right. It was cutting off your pinky toe.
Yourself.
Right. Doing it yourself. Should we have been more sensitive to people that have possibly lost fingers or toes by that question in hindsight?
Well, the sentiment with What Would You Rather Wednesday, it's supposed to be ridiculous.
Unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. It's uncomfortable. Yeah. It's the worst. Like it's dumb, and we say that too. Like we state that in the beginning. Like this isn't like a serious thing. We're not, you know what I mean?
Hassan, you weren't here for it. Hearing it in hindsight, do you feel like maybe we should have been more sensitive to people that have, because it is true. I can only imagine how that's got to feel like shit. Okay. To have lost a finger, it sucks. But have we not talked about it because of that reason?
How are you supposed to know she lost a finger?
I know. That's how I feel with all these. Sometimes they're so specific that I'm
literally, like if y'all had talked about this week before or something, and this person expressed this makes her feel uncomfortable, or this person has felt uncomfortable because of that. Yeah. Okay, sure. But to my knowledge, I have never saw this person text in saying that they lost a finger. Again, unfortunate situation. Yeah. So sorry this happened to you. But how were we supposed to know that you lost a finger?
Celia on our YouTube show says, no lie, that happened to my ex. They went on an engagement vacation and fell off.
Fell off a swim-up bar and pop
finger off. Gone? Wait, what? How did that? So I'm confused. That story doesn't make any sense.
So they basically fell, and then the finger somehow fell off.
How did they lose their finger? They lost it in the pool?
Yeah, they fell off of a swim-up bar.
Oh shit. Okay, I think that's way too sensitive. Sometimes it's not about you. Okay, it's clearly not about you that lost their ring finger, Jessica. Okay. All right. Apparently there was another one. This is just to show you that, and this only happens on Wednesday, just so you know. What was this second one, Hassan, that you saw come through?
Oh, before, let's give you the backstory.
I was going to do that.
I don't even
Is-
remember this. What was this
yeah,
about?
it was
So
to bay
th-
or not to bay.
Right.
Oh.
When we were doing a taste test, I'm wearing glasses for the first time, and Kramer called me 4 eyes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're fucking with Jess today, right? And like we had done a segment right before it about Jess thinking that her wearing glasses actually makes her eyesight worse, and we were debating does it actually make it worse or not. So we'd already kind of been talking about it for a little bit, and then so it was kind of the topic of conversation going into our to bay or not to bay taste test segment, which is very family friendly, no issues there. And I said, okay, what do you think? 4 eyes, just like picking at her, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I don't know how this is.
So you got 2. The first one is
We got 2.
no. But the first one is like super mild. I really wouldn't count this. So secondly, it's 1.5. So the first one's like, thank you. And the fact that Kramer called just for us is immature. That's it. It was like, good morning, responding back to the text message or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Then the other one is really funny. You're gonna love this one. I love how excited he is to prove you wrong about your eyes after he was clearly caught on camera rolling through a red light.
Okay. You know what I mean? Like, why? What is it? I mean, like, it's fine. That one's fine. Like, that one wasn't like extremely mad, but like, it's Whiny Wednesday. So that's another edition of Whiny Wednesday.
Woo.
Wait.
Can I tell you a really quick story about this music? I've used this for years. Usually, though, this would be the sound. This is why I'm laughing, is because whenever we would talk about masturbation on the radio,
Oh yeah.
we couldn't talk about it. We would just play.
Yeah.
Because it just sounds.
I remember that.
Does it not just sound jerk offy, like a little bit, like?
Not before you told me. So I can't
now that you see it, male or female, it works. True.
It's giving me anxiety.
I don't even know where that music's from. I couldn't even tell you what that song is, but sorry, every time I hear that thing about that. Okay, we had fun. Fun's over, people. Fun's over.
Oh my God.
We got to get serious. Jess is honestly having a really hard time with her wedding and managing some of these emotions that she is having to go through. I don't think it's things you even like realized were going to come up.
Oh yeah.
As you were going through the wedding planning process.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know if this is common for most people or not, but we'll have Jess talk about this next on the Uncensored podcast. Okay, welcome back. Because in reality, we didn't take a break.
Never left.
What's happening?
I think it's like because I didn't expect it and I didn't know this was part of it, it's like heavier than, I don't know, because you just think it's like going to be super fun, and it is fun. And then I even feel guilty that like about being upset about the things I'm upset about, but it's a lot. I think the 2 biggest things that I've been
really quick. Let me just, in case you hop in and out of our podcast, Jess is getting married next May.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now she's in the wedding planning process with her fiance garage boy, which I'm sure at this point I don't have to reset it anyway.
Yeah, there you go. You know what I mean? So the 2 biggest things that I'm struggling with are wedding grief and family fallouts, I guess. And the wedding grief is having to face the fact of certain family members not being able to be there on my wedding day because they're not here anymore. And I feel like when you lose somebody, it gets better with time, but it's never not there. It's just like there, and it's in hibernation. And it comes up like on birthdays or graduations and difficult times when you wish they were there, and like moments here and there that I've like I'll get emotional from time and time again.
Why, really quick, and I meant to ask you this off the air. Why didn't we talk about when your granddad died? Because I know every year that's like a big day for you, but then all of a sudden the show went on and you posted on Instagram. Like, why didn't we talk about that?
I think because not me crying with my glasses on.
Okay, for it.
I know.
Okay, you don't have to take your glasses off to cry.
No, I
Actually,
do.
that is new.
I do have to take
That's
off my
new for
glasses to
you.
cry.
That's true. Okay.
I think just because it's always sad and heavy every year.
What day was it?
It's March 13th, and it's difficult every time. But this year, for the first time in a really long time, I had to like deal with his loss in a really sad way. It was almost just kind of like going through the grief again in a really intense way that I haven't had to in a long time. And we were just so close. And with this, it's just like, and I know all the things I know all the things to say to myself. I'm very spiritual. Like, I know he's going to be there. I know he's watching over us. All the things that you say to yourself when you miss somebody that isn't here anymore. But with this specific thing, like, it is so hard for me to grasp the fact that he's not going to be there. And also thinking about like my Apu, my grandma, and like how hard that day's going to be like for her. And it's not just
your grandmother's still alive.
Yes.
And this is her husband.
Yeah.
This is what side?
Okay.
My dad's side. This is my dad's dad.
Okay.
And also
how did he
just
die? I don't think I know how he passed away.
Substance abuse. Eventually,
Mhm.
like just drinking and just a lot of the things he was doing to his body caught up with him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a sad passing.
How
it
old
was a sad loss. Maybe like I think like in his 50s or 60s. Honestly, I don't know.
Young.
He was very young.
Yeah.
And also, it's like it's something that all of us have not. It's like it's dealt with because it is what it is, but it hasn't been dealt with.
Mhm.
All of us. There's so many things that weren't said. There's so much like trauma and issues that they all have not dealt with, as far as like the kids, my dad, my aunt, my uncle, and all that kind of stuff. So it's nice that we're at a point where we can reminisce about him, and it feels good. But this part is something that we're all going to go through that day, and it's something that we can't ignore, that we're all just going to have to acknowledge. And just thinking about that really, really sucks. It just fucking sucks. And
not being able to have him there.
Yeah. And I think it also makes you recognize that like how much our family is not what it used to be. It's not like it always hasn't been okay, but like people aren't talking and all this kind of stuff. So just to think of what I thought it was going to be like, and like, you know, my aunt's not going to be there. That's like his daughter, you know, like our relationship is not like okay. Her relationship with my parents isn't okay. It's just like all of these things get shoved in your face of like what's not okay. And it's nothing that you actually have to acknowledge or deal with until like you're planning an event like this
to put everybody together.
Yeah. And I think that's what's the saddest part is like, I've always been so excited about it. And when I pictured it in my head, all of these people were supposed to be there, and they're either not there or like they're not talking, or it's like uncomfortable, or like some of them are like contemplating not going to the reception and only the ceremony because they can't be around certain people. And it's really sad to think about, you know, and like and hope that everyone's gonna be like okay and act okay with each other when we're not the most emotionally stable human beings when we're together.
I have thought about that. I've thought about kind of because, you know, you've shared stories about your family and even without alcohol involved, like we know there's tension between certain people. And then we've also heard stories about alcohol.
Right.
And like how things have gone down because of that. And now I'm just wondering how it's all going to be when it comes together. Like, are you worried about that? Like, how are you worried that shit's going to go down at your wedding?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I am.
Or do you think people are like smart enough to say, okay, we clearly.
I don't want to say smart enough because I feel like it's
or responsible enough to be like, okay, we need to like set shit aside. I'm thinking about, for example, my wedding, right? So my ex-father-in-law and my ex-mother-in-law did not have a good relationship, right? And I don't think they had actually seen each other for
until the wedding.
A decade, you know, probably, yeah. I don't think they'd actually been in the same area since they got divorced, which was a decade or so, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I know there was like this kind of uncomfortability of how everybody was going to act with one another, and it went over fine. Was there potential for it to go bad? Sure. But I'm thinking, and what I'm hoping is that everyone's able to say, okay,
yeah,
not today. Like, not today.
I don't know if it's going to be them making that decision to themselves and recognizing that fact of like, this is not the time. But I'm hoping, and which I think it would be more likely, is everyone will just be so consumed in the joy of everything that they'll be enjoying this experience themselves, that they won't have the capacity to focus on the other stuff.
Okay.
That's what I am praying for, is that they're going to be excited about that. But like, it also like breaks my heart, like knowing that this had to be an excuse for all of us to get together, and it's probably not going to happen again either, just because of how things change and have gotten worse over time. And what's so crazy is like, you know, my mom's relationship with certain like her parents or like certain family members, same thing on both sides, was not okay. And then like when I was born, people started talking again, you know. And it's kind of like, again, like my wedding, people are going to come together, but people are older now. And it's just, and I hate that things have gotten so bad and so hurtful the older that they're getting, because it's like we don't have that much time left.
Yeah.
And I never ever thought that I'd have to like talk to my grandparents and like reassure them that you're invited to my wedding. Of course you're invited to my wedding. Like my birthday party was at your house since I can remember. Like, what do you mean?
Why did you have to reassure your grandparents they're invited to your
Just
wedding?
because they're not talking to my parents right now. And I can't like get into too much details on like the specifics of what's happening, but like they're not talking to my parents.
So
and like
your parents and your grandparents aren't talking.
Yeah, my parents and my mom's parents aren't talking.
So
and my mom
have...
isn't talking to one of her brothers either. So I didn't even know that was I had to have that conversation with my grandparents, and like they're extremely emotional. And
how'd that go? Can you share that with us?
Yeah, my nana brought it up to me, and she was like, so I know we were talking about how, and that's another thing, she's always been like, I'll help you with your wedding dress. And I hated that I felt uncomfortable like bringing that up to her, because I wasn't sure if like that was still a thing, because things are weird. It's just like so many things that I can't believe are so uncomfortable with someone that I'm so close to.
Like,
and
you just wish you could just call your grandma and talk to her about your wedding.
And it's weird. And so she brought it up. She's like, I know we've been talking about the dress, but like we're not really sure if like we're even invited. And hearing that from them was just so like heart-wrenching, because I can't even believe that that's a conversation that we're having. And I had to reassure them that like of course they are. And my parents have been so like respectful and thoughtful as far as like making sure to like keep that separate. But even though it's separate, it's still a thing, you know. And like they're emotional, like they're crying, and like I'm like, I've never had that kind of conversation with my grandparents before.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Tough.
And then I had to call like my uncle and reassure him the same thing. And like he's telling me I'm not sure if I can be there for the reception just to avoid like certain things. You know what I mean? And I get it, because obviously when alcohol is involved and emotions are high, there's no like knowing of how that's gonna go down.
Yeah.
So it's like that part I've really been struggling with, because it makes me sad.
Can you, and you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but like, can you tell us who is coming and like who's not talking to who, so we kind of get an idea of like who the people may be? Because I'm trying to figure out like how big this sounds. I didn't realize that this was as big as it was. I thought, you know, I just thought it was your aunt
on my dad's side.
Yeah, that's like literally the only drama that I knew that was currently an issue, because you'd opened up about that. But I guess I didn't realize that everybody else who isn't talking to everybody else.
Yeah, so it's very sad that like my dad's sister is not involved.
Right. And you've decided not to invite her to your wedding, correct?
Right, I have.
So
and
she's
I don't
not coming.
And I don't know how that conversation's gonna go yet.
So you haven't had it yet.
I haven't had that conversation yet.
Do you think she thinks she's coming to your wedding?
No, I think she thinks that she's not, but she's still gonna make it a thing, which sucks, because like that's just how the fuck it is.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So she's not coming, and
that's
my dad's sister. And for those of you, and I described it like this on the show, those of you guys follow along with us, it's like, and no Abby, it's like if me and Abby had a falling out and we didn't talk anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, it's fucking insane that like her and I are in this place, because like I could not ever imagine like Abby hating me or like having any issue with me. It's so sad to me.
Do you hate your aunt?
No, but I love her, but I also know that like she can't be in my life. And I think also growing up and being an adult and making those decisions for yourself and having to like identify people that you love so much, but like are not supposed to be in your life, and it's fucking sad.
Yeah.
And you have to be the one to make that decision, and you have to be the one to like do that, because they're not changing. They're staying the same, which is the reason why they're in the position that they're in. And so the older I get and the more changes I want to make for myself, and the more corrections I want to make as far as mistakes that I've seen, it feels like the farther and farther away I get from them, because that's just not the life that I want.
Yeah. It sounds chaotic. So your aunt's not coming. Your mom is not talking to her parents, and vice versa. Does your dad, is he involved in that too?
He's he's like, supportive of my
Sure.
mom. So it's like my parents aren't talking to my mom's parents right now.
Okay.
My parents aren't talking to one of my mom's brothers right now.
Okay.
And at a certain point, it was like my one of the brothers and my mom. It was like them having an issue with my like one brother and then my grandparents like versus like my mom and like the other brother kind of thing. Just because it's just like miscommunication. They're just like not understanding each other. They're just so like, and obviously this goes back so far along. This
Yeah.
is things that they haven't dealt with.
And do they even know like what the main issue is anymore?
I
Do you think it's like so far removed?
I think it's so far removed
Yeah.
that it's like I don't even know how that would go,
That's heavy. I mean, I haven't talked to my brother and sister since Christmas.
Just because of everything that happened.
We had I don't think I ever really talked about what went down on the air, but out of respect for my family, but like I haven't talked to them. I told them basically you can reach out to me when you're ready to apologize.
So you're only talking to your mom and your dad?
Mm-hmm. Haven't said a word to them. Today, time of release, it's almost April. So it's on. My brother's reached out to me and said he'd like to have a conversation. We're trying to figure out a time where he can actually come to Maryland to talk about everything. But
that's good.
But I can understand this too. I feel like this could go on for years if nobody wants to like drop their guard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like even if you were to ask me what we're fighting about anymore, I'd have to go back and like think about why was it such a big deal, like in the moment. But I know family, but I hate that for you. Do you feel like you would want to squash any of this family drama for the sake of your wedding day? Like, do you wish you could? Do you have any desire to like go to your mom and be like, listen?
I have.
Like, knock this shit off. Like, y'all figure it out.
Not even like knocking it off. Like, I've gone to her and shared my perspective on like what we could do, because I think anyone can relate to it, where it's like when it gets to this point in time in your life, especially with like family members that are older, it's like, is this how you want things to end? Because it really, at this point,
Think about
you
that,
could
right?
you could get a call at a certain point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's also like the same thing where I'm sharing, where it's like I've had to make certain decisions and not be as close to certain people because of what's happened in their life and how that affects me. I have to also respect that from my mom's perspective, because she has a history with them that I don't even know about.
Right.
And they're a thing, and so that's what's really sad, as far as like having to respect that.
Sure.
And support it. And
at the end of the day, it's her life, and she's a woman, and family drama is very real.
And not only that,
it's like your grandparents.
But I think everyone in the situation too, it's just like, I don't think anyone has dealt with the root of any of these issues.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been packed on year after year, problem after problem, from when they were younger to teenagers to anything that they've never dealt with.
Right.
And that, I think that's what the issue is. And there's nothing that I can't make you want to work through that.
Yeah.
And it's on you to want to do that, know?
Well, I'm sorry you're going through that. I do think, going back to the grandfather situation, I do think there's probably something really special that you can do to memorialize him,
Mm-hmm.
honor him during your wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is actually a pretty common thing. Everybody wants to chime in on YouTube about people you've lost and what you did, because, and I get it. Like, I remember when one of the reasons I feel like I was kind of rushed to get married as well is because my grandma was getting older and I really wanted her to be at my wedding.
Right.
And so I do remember feeling like, okay, shit, we gotta speed
Hurry
this
up.
thing up,
Mm-hmm.
It's one reason why my sister wanted to do her wedding during COVID, because at that point my dad wasn't doing well.
Right.
And was like,
she wanted him there.
We wanted to like make sure that he's there to be able to do it. So I get that feeling of like wanting certain people to be there, but I'm sure that you can come up with something special that'll be meaningful. Obviously, it's not going to be the same, and it's going to suck, but meaningful enough to like be okay.
Yeah.
Like okay enough, for the situation.
Yeah.
Until, because you got to remember, this is, at the end of the day, this is one day.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's your wedding. It seems like a big deal, and it is a big deal, but it's just one day of your life. And there's going to be plenty of other days where you don't have to worry about the drama, the sadness, everything else that's kind of coming up and planning of this one day.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, that's why I stay home and masturbate all day, yo.
Ew.
Why?
Because he has a problem.
He is. He's lonely.
No, it's like an actual problem that he has.
Oh,
Is it
God.
a problem?
Yeah.
Yes.
I see no problem.
That's it.
I see no problems with it. I didn't really quite know how to end the show on like a high note, so I decided to instantly jump back into this music. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening to Kramer and Jess Uncensored. We really appreciate it, man. It's a weird ass podcast. There's nothing else like it out there on the interwebs, baby. This is it. Like we go from
It's true.
112 to.
Don't forget about us when AI starts taking over the world. AI is not going to take you through fucking peaches and cream, masturbation, and family loss. I'm telling you that right now.
Boom.
Tina on our YouTube show says, yes, I definitely know what you're going through. My dad didn't show up for my daughter's wedding, and I was hurt, and we are not even fighting. He said he was sick and couldn't show up. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, there's such.
I'm sorry,
listen,
Tina.
Here's the, and honestly, this is the biggest problem with weddings. There's such a high expectation of everything to go right that day.
Yeah.
Everything. It's not even just talking about people. Like the food's got to be right. The venue's the wedding's got to be right. Everything got to be right. Got to be right. You know, it's stressful.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Only a year and 3 more months to deal with it. Woo! All right, Jess, where do we find you?
Just do it. JESSDUITT on social. And you can also subscribe to my wedding subscription if you want to see me cry over there. It'll be a lot of fun.
Hassan, you?
You can find me at StanWilly2 on all social media platforms.
And I am that guy Kramer on Instagram. All right. Love you guys. We'll see you again next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.